In this video, we're going to look at how we filter graphic objects in Visual Foundation. We'll start out in a Model and Load view, and under the Filter tab of Project Manager, we'll have a section at the top that lists everything that's currently in the model, such as column lines and dimension lines. And if I click these items, then the items will either be shown or not shown in the model. For each of these items, there's a Details section. And under the Details section, you can show additional information for the particular object. In the case of grade beams, I can show a name, I can show their weight, and the option to shrink them away from the piles at the ends. And so that's typical for everything in that we have additional textual information and miscellaneous graphic options for them. Now I would like to demonstrate the name filter. Each of these details sections has a name filter, and for piles it's currently set to star, which means match everything. If I look at the Find tool under piles, we see we have piles named A1, A2, B1, and B2. If I switch the name filters to say A, this will mean only show piles beginning with the letter A, and when I do that, the two piles B1 and B2 are no longer shown. So the name filter allows further selection of what's shown graphically. Final thing I'd like to talk about in the Model and Load view are the window options. Under window options, we have an option to show a title. When I do that, a title appears at the upper left-hand corner. I can use my mouse and drag that around to a different location if I'd like. The axis option allows me to show the coordinate axis here in the center. Picture view allows me to show the structure either in a realistic picture view or a simplified line view, which can sometimes be more useful when you have a lot of complicated objects close together. The Flyby Information option, when turned on, allows me to drag my mouse over various objects and I'll see information about those objects. Lastly, the View cube allows me to turn the viewing cube in the lower corner here on and off. Let's quickly look at how these work for analysis results. Under Analysis Results, Result Filter, I have very similar options to show or hide the objects in the model, grade beam, slabs, and piles. In addition, I can show the model as displaced or undisplaced. Currently, it's not shown as displaced. If I set that to true, we notice now the model has a deformed shape. I can also overlay the undisplaced structure over the top, and you can now see that, and it appears as a hazy structure. For the slab results, I have the ability to show specific kinds of results. I'm going to turn on just the slab information at the moment. And when I do that, I'm currently showing bearing pressures. The bearing pressures are for the particular result case shown in the home ribbon up at the top. Other options include the plate moments, global moments mx and my, shear forces vx and vy. In addition, I can draw moment or slab moment shear diagrams, and I do that by dragging a mouse across the cross section, and a moment shear diagram will pop up. Turning on, say, the grade beams and turning off the slab, I have a similar option to show various things, such as the moment in the grade beam, the shear force in the grade beam, and the torsional moment in the grade beam. Lastly, for the piles, I have the option of labeling the values of the forces in the piles or not label them at all. Switching to Foundation Design, in the Filter tab, we have the ability to show the various objects again as before. We have grade beam details, which include the name, the shape, and the material. We can also show slab details, and currently we're showing bearing pressures in the unity value. We can show steel design requirements and suggested steel requirements. And lastly, for the piles, we have the ability to show the piles as well as their unity values in graphic format. So that represents a quick summary of the kind of filtering you can do in the graphical views of Visual Foundation.